So, good morning, everyone. Now, finally, the day has arrived, which we were, waiting for. VIVA. When is it there? What will be there, right? So, from tomorrow onwards, we are taking the VIVA. Your lab batch wise, we are going to do VIVA. I hope you are aware about it. All right. Now, see, the link will be visible to everybody at the same time, but not everybody has to join at the same time. All right. You have to join roll number wise within intervals of 5 minutes. Right, don't worry. uh, I also have a list of your names in the lab batch, be it the regular students or be it the D2D students. I already have a list, and by the end of the day I'll circulate like who joins when. Please don't try and join before the time. I try to join at the time which is given. Yes, this is class EC2. This is for class EC2 because I'm going to take the Viva for the class EC2. Right. So everybody in EC2, you should know which lab batch you are. I hope you are knowing, especially students who have joined recently. You are supposed to join lab batch wise from tomorrow onwards. Our lab sessions have always been on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9:30 to 11:30. All right. But not everybody is not supposed to join at 9:30. In the lab batch list, which I will also circulate, do not worry, I will also circulate in our WhatsApp group, official WhatsApp group that we have. If in the D2D class also, I don't know whether we have a WhatsApp group for computer D2D students, but I hope you can take help from your friends. What we will do is, I will circulate that which student joins when. We are basically going to go enrollment number wise, right? And 5 to 10 minutes of time per student accordingly, not exact timings. Dear, we don't have a Viva today. I'm talking about a Viva tomorrow onwards. I'm talking about a Viva from tomorrow onwards. Right? Tomorrow we have batch A on Wednesday, lab batch B on Thursday, and lab batch C on Friday. All right, from 9:30 to 11:30. These are the three lab batch timings. 1, 2. Everybody does not join at 9:30. You will join according to your turn in the Viva, which will be circulated by afternoon today. Today afternoon, I'll be circulating for lab batch A, B, and C. All the three lab batches, I'll circulate a sheet in the official WhatsApp group that we have. If the D2D students are not in the official WhatsApp group, they may ask their friends who are there in the WhatsApp group to circulate with them. Or better, I will also drop an email to the D2D students. All right, so that we don't have a confusion. 1. 2. This instruction is for the regular students, not for the D2D students. For them, the instruction is different. I'll give it to you after I finish with this. Regular students, students who have been attending semester 3 lectures of ETC from the month of June, what you are supposed to do is, before your turn in the Viva, so let's say your turn is tomorrow, you must have submitted a few documents. 1, you must have submitted your Coursera certificate. 2, you must have submitted your book review as a handwritten copy as well as a PowerPoint presentation. 3, you must have submitted your cover letter as well as resume. These are the 3 things that should be completed from your side. In any case you have not submitted it, for students of lab batch A, you are supposed to submit it by today evening 6 p.m. For lab batch B, it could be Wednesday evening 6 p.m. and for lab batch C, it's Thursday evening 6 p.m. That's the most time that I can give to you. That's the maximum time that I can give to you. All right. I know most of you have submitted it, so you're not supposed to resubmit. This instruction is only for those who have not done any kind of submission, or they have something pending from the entire list which I called out. All right. In Coursera, there should be 3 certificates to be submitted: cover letter, resume and book review in two formats, handwritten format as well as a PowerPoint format. In case most of the students have made their presentations in the lab sessions that we had. In case you have not made your presentation, you have to do a small video recording of you presenting the PPT and then you send it. All right. Most of us have done it. I'm very sure about it, but just cross verify on your own. Don't cross verify with me. Madam, can you please check ours is submitted or not? See, you have submitted, so you should know that you did this work. You should be sure about yourself. That confidence at least you should have. Right? So please don't cross verify me that whether, madam, it is submitted or not. All right, whether it is submitted or not, you don't cross verify with me. You cross verify with yourself. Did I submit this? All right. Remember, do not worry that in the VIVA, I already have a sheet which is prepared with me where I know who has submitted what. Right? I know who has made what kind of submissions. What are the things that are there? So that you need not remind me. I already have a list prepared with me, but I'm not willing to take everybody's name on the online platform that who has made what submission and what is pending. You very well know who has done what. Right? Now for the D2D students, during the VIVA, your assignments will be allocated to you and you will be asked to submit it by some date. I'll give you a date. All right. I'll inform you about what is your assignment in the VIVA itself. I'll explain it. I'll also drop an email to you regarding your assignment submissions, and then I'll give you a date on which you are supposed to make the submission. Right? Now, the assignment part is clear for regular students as well as D2D students. Now, one question which would be common for everybody is introduce yourself. See, I am telling you because we have been doing it. We have already done it in our duration of our course that we have taken for effective technical communication. Self-introduction is one of the most important things. So please do not forget in the rush to learn the topics from the subject that you forget the most important part, that is the very first interaction that we have is of self-introduction. A minimum of 3 to 5 questions would be asked per student. Right? So please be mentally, I'm not trying to tell you what would be the questions, but I'm trying to make you prepared mentally for it. So that you do not compare that for one person she asked one question, for me she's asking 5 questions. It's not like that. It's a range of 3 to 5 questions to be asked to students. All right? Questions would be asked from units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Only that much. Right? It covers the whole syllabus, but only that much. So unit 1 to 6. We have already practiced how questions would be asked and what kind of answers are being expected when we did the mock interviews. Remember, we did the mock interviews where we had question answers. If such kind of a question is asked, what is expected? All right. That you also have to keep in mind. Moreover, we have already discussed how to answer questions from a university paper. Right. So that also is something that you have to keep in mind when you look at the or when you are trying to prepare for the VIVA, you have to look into those two things. One, the mock interview questions that we have prepared, how the answers were expected. See, they are not going to be the same questions. Remember that. I'm not taking a mock interview. I'm going to take a VIVA for the subject etc. All right. So two things. You have to look at what are the questions and what were the answers that were appreciated. Same thing you have to apply to the questions of the subject etc. Right? What is the question and what is expected as an answer? Right? Try to formulate it. Try to look into things. Fine. Now you have to switch on whenever you start or when you join the meeting for your VIVA. It can be a case that the previous candidate's VIVA is still going on. So with utmost courtesy, you will keep patience. for the person to complete his or her viva, and then that person, once he or she leaves the meeting, you may start yours. You have to unmute yourself, and you also have to make your video visible. You have to unmute yourself and you have to make your video visible. All right, I'll not be instructing everybody to do the same. I'll not be instructing everybody to do the same. We are not going to waste time in that. We are going to directly go for the viva. So I'm instructing beforehand that you have to unmute yourself and you have to keep your video open. Now, once I say that, thank you for being at the viva and I wish you all the good luck for your final GTU exams, it means that your viva is over. Please do not ask that, madam, should I leave the meeting? Once this statement is spoken, we exchange the complimentary clause. It is but obvious that you have to leave the meeting so that the next person can start. All right. So I'm trying to minimize the time that we waste in asking and answering questions. Fine. So two things. One, you have to unmute yourself, and you also have to keep your video on when we are taking the viva. Two, you must have submitted all your assignments. Three, you should be able to introduce yourself. That would be a common question to everybody. Four, you should be aware about the different units and the unit titles. Let's say unit number 1, the heading or the title of the unit is Dynamics of Communication. Unit number 6, it is Self-Development and Assessment. Unit 4, it is Ethics in Engineering. Unit 2, it is Technical Writing. Unit 3, it is Technical Communication. Unit 5, it is Etiquettes. All right? You should know the title as well, because there could be a possibility of a question being asked that, can you summarize what is unit number 3 all about? Or can you just summarize what is unit number 6 all about? So what is the person trying to ask? The person is trying to ask that whether you have an overall idea of what that particular unit covers. All right. Then let's say if I ask a question like, can you please tell me about the elements of the process of communication? It means you're supposed to talk about what are the different elements. What do I mean by elements? I mean to say which are the different components of the process. What are the components? The sender, then the process of encoding, the channel or medium, decoding, receiver, feedback, noise, communication environment. You just have to name it. Please listen carefully to the question. If you are unable to understand what the question is, don't say I don't know the answer. See, that is not a way to behave in the viva. Don't say that I don't know the answer. What you are supposed to tell is, you're supposed to say, could you please repeat the question? I was unable to understand it. Right? With that statement being spoken, the viva taker understands that he or she has to still simplify the question for you. Right? If you say I don't know the answer, it's a 0. If you say that can you please elaborate the question or can you please repeat the question, it means that you have not understood. Let me, or let the viva person who's going to take the viva, let him or her make it a little more simplified. You at least get a chance to score some marks. All right. Please don't waste away this opportunity that you have by saying I don't know the answer. I hope I am clear. Do we have any questions from your side till now? Then I'll explain further as well. Do we have any questions? So if you have any doubts, queries, questions, you may always unmute yourself and ask. See, if it is this, even if it is most of the simplest of the doubts, I'm not going to, be angry about it that I already explained twice. I'm ready to explain it 100 times. Don't come to the viva with a single doubt in mind. Whatever it is, please ask. Okay, the audience is so good. They don't have questions. Right now, the teacher has to force ask. All right, no problem. Now, let's. This question should come to you, but it's not coming to me, so I'm hinting. Let's say for unit 2 and 3, you should have a question to me, madam. They are quite practical kind of units. We have also discussed in the question paper resolving solving part as well that unit 2 and 3 have most weightage. Yash is trying to. Yash, are you trying to ask something? Because I'm not getting your voice. Okay, you're not asking. Fine. So when we were trying to solve the question paper, no, it's fine. I thought you were asking, and I'm not able to understand what's been asked. Yash, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So when we are solving the paper, and if you look at the syllabus also, which is given to us, the maximum weightage that you have is of unit number 2 and 3, right? So, but obvious it is to be understood that weightage question from unit 2 and 3 is a possibility to be asked in the viva, right? At least one question to one candidate from unit 2 or from unit 3 can be asked. Why? Because it has maximum weightage. Now the question comes over here, madam, if it is having maximum weightage, but if you look at unit 2 and 3, there is less of theory and more of practical writing. Right? If you take a look at the question paper as well, they have never asked you, can you write the theory of technical description? Or can you write the theory of letter? Can you discuss the structure of a letter? They have asked you to draft letters. Now, what will happen, madam, if you ask a question from unit 2 and 3? What are we supposed to answer? Are we supposed to, you'll give us time to write the letter, or will you give us time to do something about it? This question should come to you. Nevertheless, people have not asked me, what do you do? What will you do if I ask you a question from letter writing? Let's say, we suppose we'll take an example. How will you answer it? Can somebody help me with that? Yeah. Okay, Gaurav has got a solution for it. That will display our work. Very good, Paras. All right. See, why am I discussing this, right? When you are preparing for a Viva, you should be prepared in a way that whatever question be asked, how do we answer it, should be running in your mind simultaneously. Remember, I'll not give you time to write the letter. I might not be able to give you time. At times, it will happen. We have a time crunch. So we might not be giving you time, let's say, to display the work that you have done. Or in cases of students who are D2D students, they do not have anything to display to me. So what do you discuss? Let's say, as a teacher also, I'm quite aware that what should I ask to you when I'm asking letter writing. Let's say I'll ask you, can you discuss what could be the parts of an inquiry letter, right? This kind of a question can be asked. And so you can say that in the letter, because we're going to use the block format, everything is to be aligned to the left. You'll first have the sender's address, then the date, the receiver's address, the subject line in 2 or 3 words, or let's say 3 to 5 words. Then we have the salutation where respected is now being replaced by dear, and then we start the letter. Any letter would have minimum of a maximum of 3 paragraphs. Words such as catalog, brochure, or let's say discount facilities, payment facilities would be used while writing a letter of inquiry. It is completed with a complimentary clause, a signature line. Right? There you don't have to mention that a signature line means the signature and the person's address comes again. I hope I'm making sense out of it. Right? Now let's say there are questions in unit number 3, which is more about technical communication, orally speaking about things. Right? So what do you do in that case? So what I can do as a part of a question, what I can do, I cannot give you a group discussion because it is an individual viva, right? So what at the most I can do is I can give you a topic, and I'll say I'm giving you a minute's time to speak on it. Let's say I'll tell you what are your views on the current pandemic situation? What do you think? Let's say to check your creative and critical thinking aspects. right? I can always ask you, there are many countries who are trying to research on and find out a vaccine for the pandemic that is ongoing in the entire world. Now, if such a vaccine is found in India, what do you think the name of the vaccine could be? What kind of a name should we give to the vaccine? See, that's quite being creative. You have to name something, right? So here, I'm not asking you to go and find out what Russia named it, or what Canada named it, or what US named it, what the UK named it, or what even India is trying to name it. What do you think it should be named? Right? It's about being creative. Remember, at times, whenever we have discussed things, at times, whenever we have discussed things, I've told you that this subject, etc subject, the language learning subject, is more about the practical aspects of things, right? It's more about being practical. So instead of asking you what is creative thinking in communication, I may directly ask you a question like this. Let's say you have devised a new software, a computer engineers, or you have devised a new device, you want to launch a new product in the market. What name would you give to the product and why? Right? Because names, usually, if you take up not only in India but throughout the world, when you pick up a name is given to somebody or some product depending on its characteristics, one, or it can be also depending on the family that runs the business, right? So if you have Tata Industries, it is after the family name. All right, there are many such businesses that are running, fine. So you have to keep a track of such things as well, because I have been repeating n number of times that this subject is more about the practical aspect. Now, if I give you an overview of looking at the question paper and trying to interpret, sometimes you tell your friends, yaar te kidu tune ek questions badha aiva, whatever questions you said were there. The person is not a fortune teller, okay? He's not looked into his crystal ball. He or she has just studied the syllabus carefully. If you have not had a look at the syllabus, kindly have a look at it. If you take a look at the syllabus of etc units number 1, 2 and 3, the total weightage of this 3 units in exam is 65 percentage. So 65 percentage of the paper comes from this 3 units combined. I hope you understand, or you take the hint which I am giving to you. Not only for the VIVA, but also for the final examination as well. If you look at the module weightage, if you look at the syllabus, it will give you a hint of what is going on. Right? Moreover, if you take unit 2 and 3, they are more practical in nature. You should always look at things practically. Let's say unit number 3 is interview skills. We already have a good amount of questions ready with us. That, let's say, the VIVA taker will ask you that in an interview, somebody is asking you that what are your strengths and weaknesses. If such a question is asked in the interview, what will you answer? You already have a question ready and you already have an answer ready for it. We have got a variety of it there, right? So whatever activities we have done, please go through it, right? Because sometimes the question can be open-ended as well. So what is an open-ended question? An open-ended question is a question where the teacher says, okay, what kind of activities have you done while you were learning the course etc. So you say, we did group discussion, we did public speaking, we did role play, we had a mock interview, right? These are the things that we can speak of. Let's say this is what I remember, that madam, this is what we did, right? So which was your favorite kind of an activity and why? All right. Now, this is for the very first time the whole semester of such a theory type of subject. Not only this subject, but many theory subjects we have been doing on the online platform. So one of the possible questions that could be asked would be, what kind of difficulties did you face while dealing with something such fresh, or a maiden innings that we had this time? right? The entire semester, I did not see your face, you did not look at my face, but still work was getting done and on time. So, what are your views on it? What kind of difficulties did you face? How did you overcome such difficulties? Now, please don't tell me that we had difficulty in the network. That's not what the teacher is asking. Teacher is not asking about your network issues. The teacher is trying to ask what were your experiences in the classroom and out of the classroom. Let's say if it is a mathematical subject, let's say a theoretical subject where you have to go stepwise, what would be a possible difficulty that you would have faced? So a possible difficulty is when you are in the classroom, you know, you don't have to wait for the teacher to complete the mathematical equation. Let's say you have a problem in step number 3, you can always raise your hand and you can say, ma'am, I could not. Now here what happens is, in the virtual world, you always are in a dilemma whether I should unmute myself and ask, or should I write an message and ask. Will he or she understand what I'm trying to ask? Right? It's like a little alien experience. Fine. So the expected answer would be something like that. Never ever try and tell problems related to network, problem related to your mobile phones, or problems related to the laptop. Here, the questioner is simply trying to find out, did you find it difficult? Not the subject, but the learning method. Sometimes you don't know where to mute yourself from. Sometimes we don't know what she's talking about. She's talking about Zoom. What is Zoom? Or he is talking about Google Meet. What is Google Meet? There's somebody who's talking about Google Classroom. What are we going to do? See, I'm not saying everybody would have faced the same problems, but these are the kinds of problems which we are supposed to explore if such a question is being asked. Let's say another question that would stretch from here could be that what could be, like, in your view, what could be the possible solution to this problem? Remember, we have done case studies. Unit number 4, we have taken case studies in our hand, right? So a teacher will not ask you to look into a case study. He or she would ask you or give you a situation. You study the situation because you were a part of that situation, right? So you have been in that situation, thick and thin, we have been together. So what do you think could be the possible solution for problem 1 or problem 2, which has been assigned to you? I hope now I am being a little clear about the kind of things that can be asked in the VIVA. Now see, now there could be questions from the students who have been in the D2D batches, where we did not have much time to explore things in detail. So please understand, we are teachers, and we understand the level of questions that we should ask to student 1 and student 2, right, with the experience that you have gone through. So for D2D students, we might not go around and ask you that, you remember we did case study, how did we solve the case study? For you, the question could be more simpler and more practical in nature. Instead of going for a case study, would say that, you joined little late for semester 3 degree engineering. How did you cope up with your studies in this virtual world? Right? That you have gone through. That's your experience. Fine. So remember, the questions would be asked according to the nature of the subject, but not only the nature of the subject, but also in accordance with who attended classes when, or what kind of experiences has a student gone through. Because this EC2 class, whole and soul, I have been with the class, right? Let's say from the lectures to the labs, I have been there. Fine. So I have a very good idea about students doing work. Fine. So do not worry. There will not be anything which will just blow you away. Stay away from the anxiety of the VIVA and try to calm yourself and compose yourself. Fine. Most of the times, we do not remember answers when we are nervous. So please be confident. You have taken so many tests, so many quizzes, and so many inbuilt, 2 or 4 statements and such things. And you have always done it in a correct way. Maximum number of people in this class have been correct about their answers. Be it intuition, be it your study and interest in it, right? But don't lose confidence on the part of yourself doing things. Fine. So do not worry about what the question will be. Just worry about how you will answer it. That's the whole technique about it. Fine. So don't feel nervous about it. I know you, you know me, though through the virtual problem, but we know, sorry, through the virtual platform, we know each other, right? And it's not going to be a very big deal. If you have been through me, if you have been through the course with me throughout things, you have taken interest in the activities, I assure you that you will perform good. I know that. But just get rid of the nervousness that you have been facing. We have practiced these things twice, thrice, right? We have practiced it in public speaking. We have practiced it in group discussion. We have practiced speaking with me for your interview skills. And you have also lastly done your book review, right? You have made a presentation. So remember all the tips and tricks that have been given to you at that time. They will all become useful at this time as well, right? So don't worry about stuff. I hope now there should not be any doubt about Viva. You should be clear about it now. Still, if you have any questions, the way I tried to trigger a few questions, if somebody has any 2-3 minutes to think about it, don't worry. All right. So now I'll take the attendance for the day because this is what we had to explain for the Viva part. First, I'll take the attendance of the regular students and then we'll move on to the list of the D2D students. So don't be in a rush about telling me. I already have an idea and the list is also open. We go in order. Okay, in case you are facing network issues on the video, but at least once, because it's going to be the reason why I'm insisting on the video is we're going to record this Viva, all right? We're going to make things very clear about what you do. At least once, if you can just showcase your face and you can close it if you have a network issue. Is that fine now? Right? At least for a minute or two, if your face is there on the screen, in case there is some discrepancy in the marks or somebody raises a question, then there could be a difficulty to prove whether it is who is giving the Viva, right? To make it a little clear, that's the only reason I wanted the video on, but it's absolutely fine if you just showcase your face for a minute or two, and then you can switch it off when we are having network issues. What language should the Viva be in, ma'am? The name of the subject is Effective Technical Communication, and if I am not mistaken, I have been teaching the subject in English only, and the subject is all about English. So the preferred language would be English for the Viva. Fine. See, remove that fear from your mind that you don't know English, okay? When I insist to students, they speak very nice in English. Just remove that fear from your mind. There's no problem with you speaking in English. If it is required, do not worry. I'll not give it to everybody as a chance, but if there are problems, I'll be trying to help you with the words as well. Don't worry about that part. Right? So let's take the attendance now. Enrollment number 2. 5. 8. Enrollment number 8. 9, 10, 12, 16, 17, 19, 24, 25, 26, 29, 31, 34, 35, 38, 44, 46, 47, 49, 50, 51, 53, 54, 56, 58, 65, 67, 68, 69, 72, 73, 82, 85, 89, 91, 96, 100, 101, 2, 3, 6, 8, 17, 18, 19,
Yes, ma'am.
okay,
Yes,
20.
ma'am.
That was 18 and 19. Okay, then 120, 121, 125, 126, 131, 134, and 144. We'll call out the absent numbers one for the regular students before I take the attendance for the D2D students, so that if there is somebody who is missing or I have missed, you may tell me. Enrollment number 2, 8, 9, 10, 65, 67, 73, 89, 120, 125, 126. These are the students, regular students. Students whose attendance is taken may leave the meeting. D2D students, give me a minute. I'm taking your attendance after this. I hope you know your enrollment numbers. At D2D, enrollment number 1, Devarsh. 2, Om. 3, Mir. 4, Mansi. 5, Nishita. 6, Shubham. 7, Rishabh. 8, Paras. 9, Samir. 10, Sunita. 107, Divya. 11, Parth. 12 Parita, 13 Savan, 14 Astha, 15 Nirjar, 16 Viraj, 18 Nisha, and 17 Shifa. Anybody whom I have missed? All right. Before you leave the meeting, all the D2D students, one of the assignments that you will have, which is common, is resume writing. Do not worry, you will receive Jai, new admission. Jai, you belong to EC2 class? You will be given, okay. I have marked your presence, Jay, for today. I hope you are able to access the Google shared folder. All right. Please remember you have to log into Marwadi email ID to utilize that one. All right. If you are unable to access it, it means that you are logging into your personal. You will not be able to log in if you have a personal email ID in that case. One. Two, for the assignment, completing the assignments, you will be given 5 days of time. Don't worry. So that by Saturday, you will be asked to submit your assignment. By today evening, you will receive an email from me on your institute email ID, Marwadi email ID. If in case the Marwadi email ID is not there, let's say for new admission students, you will receive an email on your personal email ID as well. I'll try to email you on both the email IDs. You will receive a list of assignment which you are supposed to mail back to me by this Saturday. So what is the date on Saturday? 6th, if I'm not mistaken. 5th or 6th? 5th. Okay, so by 5th of December, you are supposed to complete your assignment. Do not worry. Whatever assignment I'm giving, let's say if it is a resume, I'll write whether you have to submit a handwritten copy or you are supposed to submit a typed copy or computer copy. All right, that also I'll mention over there. In case you are still not clear about the assignment, you may always ask it to me on the WhatsApp. You may draft a message and I'll reply to you. But do not ask such questions in the Viva. Remember, I know that you are students of D2D. You might not have a letter prepared with you which you can show in the Viva. So such questions will not be asked to you. Fine. So don't worry about the Viva part. My number, yes, please. This is my number, which is also the WhatsApp number as well. But please look at the decency of time before dropping a message. By decency of time, I mean I will not be answering people after 6:30 in the evening. Right? Even if I see the message, I might not be able to answer. There are the social responsibilities that are being followed. Fine. So please follow the protocol right within the time. And I hope you are aware which is your lab batch. You must have known from your class coordinator about it. I'll drop an email as well to you guys about what would be the time of joining the meeting link. Fine. So do not worry about the Viva. You'll be able to give the Viva very nicely because you have gone through the extensive lectures that we have taken for you for all the 6 units. Fine. So thank you, class. I will call it a day over here. Thank you. Have a nice day.